Good afternoon. I am going to call to order this regular meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Wednesday, August 7th. My name is Andrea Jenkins, and I am the chair of this committee. With me at the dais are council members Palmisano, Goodman, Schrader, council member Cunningham, Fletcher, Cano, and Gordon. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum of this committee. The only business we have before us today is the receipt of reports from our standing committees on matters to be considered by the full council at our regularly scheduled meeting tomorrow. I do want to note that we have been joined by Councilmember Reich, and we will start with the Economic Development and Regulatory Services Committee, chaired by Councilmember Goodman.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We have 8 items that are coming in front of us for tomorrow. Item number 1 is a license for Olive and Lamb Eatery. Item 2 is a license for Cosmic Bean Dispensary. Item 3 is a license for the Lindale Tap House. Item 4 is our changes to the 2020 license fee schedule. I'll note that a number of licenses have gone up, some have stayed the same. Essentially, most of the ones that were $100 or less did not see the increase. We did ask staff to take a look at one issue that was brought up to us at committee, and I have not heard back from staff. Should I not hear back from them, I'll be moving to delete that increase from the report tomorrow. Item number 5 is liquor license approvals, and 6 is gambling license approvals, 7 is gambling license renewals, and number 8 is accepting grants for projects in the city from DEED and the Met Council's TBRA account. So it's a good news story. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions on items 1 through 8.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodman. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? We have been joined by Councilmember Warsame. The next committee report is the Housing Policy and Development Committee. That report will be given by Chair Councilmember Gordon.
Thank you very much, Vice President. The Housing Policy and Development Committee is coming forward with 7 items at our next meeting, which I think is on Thursday this week. The first 3 are land sales, all 3 of them in North Minneapolis. The 4th item is a resolution authorizing approval of issuance of tax-exempt multifamily housing revenue entitlement bonds. This is for the Madison Apartments. The 5th item is a resolution that's approving the Hennepin County Housing and Redevelopment Authority financial assistance for the 2019 Affordable Incentive Housing Incentive Fund. There are 8 projects that are getting funded through the county. The 6th item is approving the creation of a single-room occupancy shared housing pilot within the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And the 7th item is a staff direction having to do with the city financial assistance for short-term rental housing proposals. Happy to take questions on any of those items.
Thank you, Chair Gordon. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Our next committee report will be given by Councilmember Schrader in the absence of Chair Johnson, the Intergovernmental Relations Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Intergovernmental Relations Committee met on July 25th in an adjourned meeting and is forwarding 1 item to our tomorrow's meeting. Will be the passage of an ordinance for a biennial budget process charter amendment. Also want to note that the committee will be meeting in our regular meeting right after this at 2:30, and will probably likely be forwarding 1 additional item for consideration, and that's the passage of a resolution for a lodging tax rate adjustment. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Councilmember Schrader. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the next committee report is the Public Health, Environment, Civil Rights, and Engagement Committee, given by its chair, Councilmember Cunningham.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Public Health, Environment, Civil Rights, and Engagement Committee is bringing forward 3 items for approval on tomorrow. The first is passage of an ordinance that amends regulations to prohibit any use of PERC in any dry cleaning facility. The second is passage of a wage theft ordinance. And item number 3 is approving the council appointment of me to the to the Violence Prevention Steering Committee. This is just a formality for me to be able to participate. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Chair Cunningham. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the next committee report is the Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee, given by its chair, Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee brings forward 4 items today. One is authorizing a contract with Grandma's Marathon for the Minneapolis Police Department Bomb K-9 services. Item number 2 is accepting a grant from the Minnesota Department of Commerce for Minnesota Auto Theft Prevention for the Minnesota Auto Theft Prevention Program. Item number 3 is accepting a Minnesota Board of Firefighter Training and Education Training Academy reimbursement. And item number 4 is authorizing the Minneapolis Police Department's cooperative agreement with the 4th Judicial District Court for drug court program enforcement. I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Chair Cano. Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, the next committee report is the Transportation and Public Works Committee, given by its chair, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee will be forwarding 10 items. Item 1 is a sidewalk repair construction assessment list. Item 2 regards the 28th Avenue South Bridge replacement project and its request for a variance. Item 3 and 4 are both agreements with partners for reconstruction projects. Item 5 is a protected bikeway project appropriation increase over by the University of Minnesota. Item 6 is engineering service agreement for the Fridley softening plant lime slaker. Item 7 to 8 are contract amendments for projects listed. Item 9 is an MOU with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency for investigations and other operations. And the final item is accepting a low bid for work for the department. I'll stand for any questions, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Councilmember Wright. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the next committee report is the Ways and Means Committee, given by its chair, Councilmember Warsame.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Ways and Means Committee has 9 items to report. Item number 1, 2, and 3 are legal settlements. Item number 4 is the 2019 Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS contracts with Metropolitan Council Housing Redevelopment Authority, Just Us Health, and Clear Housing. Item number 5 is the bid for the East Side Facility Fuel Depot project. Item number 6 is a lease with 2700 East 28th Street LLC for Fire Department Employee Assistance Program. Item number 7 is a collective bargaining agreement, and this is for the Building Trades Unit 2019 through to 2022. Item number 8 is a contract amendment with Mid-Minnesota Legal Aid for legal representation to low-income Minneapolis tenants. And the final item is a partnership application to the NEA Our Town program, and I will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Chair Warsame. Are there any questions? Any questions? Seeing none, the next committee report is the Zoning and Planning Committee, and that report will be given by its chair, Councilmember Schrader.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Zoning and Planning Committee will bring forward 5 items. The first is the denial of an appeal for the property at 2542 through 2554 Blaisdell Avenue, as well as 110 26th Street West. The second is the approval of a rezoning at 110 26th Street West, as well as 2542 Blaisdell Avenue. The third is the approval of an alley vacation at 620 9th Street Southeast. Number 4 is the passage of an ordinance regulating the drive-through facilities. And the final is the approval of the zoning code text amendment work plan. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Chair Schrader, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, that concludes our business for this committee, and we are adjourned.